Hey guys, I just got back from a nice long spin on the Harley, and then I was catching up with some courts and I came across this absolute beauty. Divorces and all that kind of stuff. It's nasty business as it is, but even nastier when you got a guy like this involved. Basically, he took everything and ran away to Costa Rica or Costa Rico, one or the other. I always get confused between those two. Anyway, so he complains and complains to the judge about this whole thing being put off so much, and the judge kindly reminds him that it is 100% his fault. And then on top of that, he makes some outrageous claims about his wife and the judge. Stay tuned towards the end for that. Anyway, folks, I'll catch up with you as soon as this is over, and we'll have a little chat.
And I need you to unmute, please. Mr. Backus, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're on the record in Nevin versus Backus. This is case number 2213862. The record should reflect that both parties are present by Zoom. We have Ms. Bostic here on behalf of Ms. Nevin, and we're set for a status conference today, as well as Ms. Bostic. You filed a motion regarding several different types of reliefs. You're looking for some damages related to the home in this case, attorney fees, some injunctive relief, and ultimately entry of the judgment of divorce. Is that correct?
That's all correct, sir.
Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to state in terms of argument? I mean, I went through your motion. I see that you've supplied all the documentation and so forth with that motion. Was there any argument you wanted to present today?
Not too far beyond that, other than, of course, to stand on the motion. These are the damages we calculated, and there's, I would leave it to the court's discretion to determine how exactly it would like to calculate those damages. We obviously have a very significant loss of equity between the two appraisals, as well as, and part of that loss of equity is the specific damage to the items that Ms. Nevin was able to identify, replace, or have quotes on. We're also, of course, standing on the request for attorney fees, given the work that was necessary following the damage to the home to get that sorted out. That should never have happened. It was in violation of the mediation agreement. And because the mediation was ordered, there are expectations that a party may be entitled to attorney fees if another party acts out or acts in a way that's contrary to a court order, and as well as to the extent that this is sanctionable conduct on the damage to the home after he knew it had been awarded to the plaintiff and after there was an agreement that he would leave it intact with certain fixtures present. We are asking for the injunctive period so that we have an opportunity for the judgment of divorce to go into effect. Before this court, there has already been, I know this court at our last hearing raised some concerns regarding the defendant's credibility and his good faith in participating in this divorce proceeding and making funds available. He's previously told the court that he is completely destitute and living in Costa Rica with no money and no or very little income, but the court determined and was very satisfied last time we met that he did in fact receive a very significant payment of money in a liquid form, that if he is now destitute, there should be some questions about where that went. So there should be some assets somewhere, and we would ask the court to further enjoin any movement of those accounts, just so that we have time to execute the judgment because of the amount of damages that we're asking for due to Mr. Backus' conduct before he left the home. And that's all.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Backus, what's your position on this?
Well, that's first I've really heard of this motion. I never received anything about the motion, so I don't have much to say about it. Really, I mean, she can try to get what she wants to out of me. I mean, that's fine. I just want to proceed and get this divorce over with. As far as assets go ahead and search. So it's, unless you want to come to Costa Rica.
All right, Ms. Backett or Ms. Bostic, it looks like you served Mr. Backus with this by his email address that he provided. Is that correct?
That is correct. Pursuant to his statement on the record, I think last December, that he preferred electronic service.
Okay, so Mr. Backus, you might want to check your email. That's how you asked to receive documents.
Yes, sir. I check my email every day, and you know what? She never sent that. She never sent it. So I never received it. She never sent it. I've received every single email from the clerk of the court. She hasn't sent nothing, Your Honor. She could sit there and say she did, but she didn't.
I'll file my outgoing email with the court as well if that's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Bostic, first of all, after reviewing the file and your motion, I do think that the injunctive relief that you're requesting is appropriate to prevent the dissipation of any further assets while this is pending. I think given that Mr. Backus has located himself outside of the country, given what's gone on at the home when he vacated it, and the condition that it was in, and there's been some exhibits filed to show that condition. I think in terms of the court's equitable powers here, I think in all fairness, that injunctive relief is appropriate and necessary to prevent either side from dissipating any assets until the court can make some rulings and some findings. So if you'll submit an order regarding the injunctive relief under the 7-day rule, the court will assign that. With regard to the damages and attorney fees, certainly that you provided all the documentation for that, but I think the court needs to have an evidentiary hearing and to take some testimony as to how those amounts were obtained and so forth. And Mr. Backus has the right to, a contested hearing to question those amounts as well. So I think if Ms. Bostic, if the court were to set this for, maybe a 2-hour or half a day hearing, would that be enough time for you to present the testimony you need on those exhibits that you submitted with your motion?
Yes.
Okay, so the court will set this for, I'm going to set it for a half a day hearing just in case at the court's next available date. Mr. Backus, you'll be provided with notice of the date and time of that hearing. To the extent that you want to contest the damages that they're seeking, then you'll need to be prepared to present your side of the case or any evidence that you'd like to bring before the court to contest the amounts that they're requesting, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bostic, is there anything else that we can address for your side for today's purposes?
Depending on what the court's calendar is, if the half-day hearing would be anticipated to be within the next 5 days, we could put on the proofs.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there. Can you say that again?
Yes. Depending on what the court's calendar is, and if we would have that half-day hearing within 45 days, we are prepared to put on the proofs today. Unless you would prefer that at the evidentiary hearing.
I'm not sure sitting here what my calendar's like, so I'd rather put the proofs on at the time of that hearing. We can certainly do that then.
Very good.
Okay. All right, Mr. Backus, do you have any questions at all?
Yeah, is my divorce final today then? Is that part of it done with? Huh?
No.
Pardon? It's not going to be done until we do this next hearing?
No, because I have to make some determinations about if and what damages Ms. Nevin might be entitled to, as well as the request for attorney fees. So all of that would need to be determined before we can enter a final judgment.
Lads and lassies, just a quick break in the middle here, just to let you know, a few of the most recent videos I've put up have been demonetized, so I'd really appreciate it if you go watch those, hit the thumbs up, share it, all that stuff. And if you want to help the channel in other ways, you consider becoming a channel member, a Patreon, or dropping a tip in the PayPal tip jar down below. Thank you.
Okay. One last question. How long does that usually take from this point on? I'm trying to get on with my life. I got a new baby here. You know, I'm going through the, U.S. Embassy for dual citizenship for her. And, this is a major roadblock for me. So, and this has been dragging on and on and on. It should have been done months ago. But here we are. And now we're going to postpone it again. I don't understand. I really don't. And I feel like at this point, would I be in contempt of court if I do not do any more and just let them do a divorce decree on me?
So to address your first point, number one, you're the one who chose to move to Costa Rica. That's resulting in a lot of the delays here. Number two, you're the one who chose to leave that house in the condition that you left it in, and that's causing the delays here. And number three, in terms of your question about what would happen, I can't really tell you that. That's up to you. You'll have to decide how you want to go forward. But from my seat, the delays here are all caused by you, so I don't think you really have any cause to complain at this point.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you, respectfully disagree with you. For one, I didn't leave the house in that condition. And that's why the sheriff's department, you said I did. The sheriff's department never prosecuted me. How come there wasn't criminal charges like Miss Bostic said there would be? Remember, she's in her motion, she said that. Okay,
I'm not going to debate with you. We have differing opinions, and that's fine. That's fair, but I'm not going to debate with you. We're going to proceed as I've indicated, and that's how we'll go forward.
Okay. One last question for you. Is there a way for me to appeal your decision?
Again, that would call for me to give you legal advice, and I can't do that. So you'll have to figure that out on your own.
Yeah, of course not, but you will for her. I think she's paying you off or something, but that's all right.
Okay, well, you can pursue that as well if you want. There's ways for you to make those grievances if you want to do that.
Oh, isn't that legal advice?
I'm not giving anybody legal advice.
You just did.
I don't think I did.
It's okay. You won't see me. You won't see me.
I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to debate with you, Mr. Backus. That's all for today.
Yeah,
you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See y'all in Costa Rica. Pura vida, as we say here.
So there we have it, lads and lassies. This guy, I don't know, it seemed like maybe he was on something. Let me know what you think down below. I'm not really sure. Just your kind of typical divorce, except multiplied by 100, it seems. Running off to a different country with all the money. Talking about his new girlfriend. And then claiming that the judge is taking money from his ex-wife. Standard stuff. Now, I know, to be fair, sometimes divorces can get really, really nasty and one side's just as bad as the other. But just on the face of it, it seems like one side in particular is way worse than the other. Anyway, folks, thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure and hit that like button and we'll catch you in the next one. Sláinte.